Are you looking for a steering wheel but all the good ones seem too expensive? Well, don't worry, because it is perfectly normal. SimRacing is a very expensive world to start with, especially for those who want to build something of a certain quality. Today we're here to find out what you should buy as your first or next steering wheel, between the new Thrustmaster T128, the T150 from the same brand, or the Logitech G29, G920 and G923. I have tried all these steering wheels and I have been in the SimRacing world for many years. In these years I've tested from a €30 steering wheel to a super big direct drive steering wheels of more than €3,000. In this video we are going to focus on finding the best cheap alternative, the best cheap steering wheel in value for money for this 2023. During the video you will be constantly seeing images of the Thrustmaster T128 and also of a T150 Pro, wheels that I have already been able to test for quite some time. Curiously, and despite being the steering wheel that I have used the most among those tested today, I do not have a Logitech steering wheel at the moment. Yes, I had a Logitech G29 as my personal steering wheel for 4 years, when I switched to the Fanatec CSL Elite that I have now. At this time I have already tested in depth the 3 steering wheels, and I have very clear the obvious differences that exist in favor of one or the other. Have you tried any of these steering wheels? Are you in this video because you want to buy one? Which one is your favorite? Leave it in the comments. We will divide the comparison into different sections, and we will highlight the differences of the steering wheels in each of them. I hope this video is what you were looking for, and I wanted to emphasize that it has been possible thanks to your support. If you want the channel to keep progressing, don't forget to subscribe, check the description to follow us on other networks like TikTok or Instagram, and above all, add our Amazon and components affiliate links to your bookmarks. That way, despite paying the same price for your online purchases, you will be contributing directly to this channel. To begin with, we have the issue of materials and build quality, a relevant issue, despite the fact that we are talking about the lower flywheel ranges. Here the order depends quite a bit on the version of the steering wheel, as a Thrustmaster TMX has a better rim than a T150. If we compare the 3 steering wheels shown in the video, which are the ones I have tested, the G29 seems to me the best possibly in terms of materials, followed by the T150 and the T128. In build quality all the alternatives are very good, without too many differences in this regard. The T128, which is the most current and cheapest steering wheel, does not stand out especially for its quality of materials and also has the worst paddles in my opinion. Those of a T150 are clearly superior in feel and size. As I said in the review, this is the weakest point of the new Thrustmaster model. The T128 has 4 LEDs that light up as the car revs up, something that is very cool and we also see in the Logitech steering wheels. In this category I don't think the differences are representative when it comes to choosing, as the 3 steering wheels remain at similar levels, although if I had to choose a winner I would give it to Logitech, especially for having a leather rim. Then comes the section on the bass and force feedback, an extremely important aspect, which largely determines the quality of a steering wheel. Here the truth is that the 3 wheels seem to me that they are very even, and there are no major differences. I would say that the Thrustmaster force feedback I usually like more than Logitech, but being comparing the lower ranges of Thrustmaster, the thing is pretty even with Logitech. In terms of total force they all go well, taking into account that they are steering wheels that 99% of players will be anchoring to a table, and not to a structure or cockpit. Although it does not seem to me a decisive aspect when choosing, since the 3 steering wheels are very even, I would say that the force feedback of Logitech transmits more detail, but that detail is of poor quality. I would say that the steering wheel doesn't know very well what is going on with the car. Meanwhile, on the T128 I noticed that not a lot of detail is conveyed, but what is conveyed seems more accurate to me. It has also transmitted me more feeling of force than the Logitech, despite being very similar in terms of NM on paper. Many times not everything is a number, and the feeling that an article leaves you with does not correspond to what is said on paper. There are cars with the same power but that run much more or much less because of other factors. Something similar happens here, and the belt system or the weight of the hoop itself could be affecting the final sensations, in this case, in favor of Thrustmaster. The T150 I would say would fall between the 2 options, maybe with slightly less strength than the new T128. Finally, an aspect that is often unfairly overlooked, such as the pedal board. Recall that I tested the Pro version of the T150 steering wheel, so it integrates Thrustmaster's T3PA pedal board with clutch pedal, which is infinitely better than the pedal board included in the base pack of the T150. The T128 does not have a Pro version, so in this case we use the T2PM pedals, which are made of plastic and do not have a clutch. In the case of Logitech, we return to its characteristic pedal board, which includes 3 pedals, with metal plate and quite good qualities, the best in this comparison. In this section there is no comparison possible, since the T2PM pedals that come with the T128 do not seem to me to be recommended in any case. It is a pedal board that is not useful if you want to compete or be minimally constant and accurate in your favorite simulator. It can serve you if you are a very occasional player, but not for much more. Between the T150 T3PA pedals and the Logitech alternative, I have always preferred the Logitech option. It seems to me that the quality is better, and the brake gives me more confidence, and I am more precise. Anyway, in this case, the decision depends more on the personal feeling of each one. Maybe having used the pedals of a G29 for so long, I have become much more accustomed to that particular pedal board, and that's why I prefer it. But beware, new Thrustmaster models like the T248 have integrated the new T3PM pedal board, which I found superior to any other pedal board of this type and this range. Let's see if Thrustmaster is encouraged to launch a T128 Pro with this pedal board to be able to compete with Logitech. Let's move on to the final sensations and my opinion after using these 3 steering wheels. Which one was the best? Which one would you buy? Obviously we take into account the Pro versions of the T150 and TMX steering wheels, since the pedal board included in the normal version is as if the steering wheel came without pedal board. I would only recommend this steering wheel if you are planning to get some decent pedals in the near future, even if you buy them second-hand. Something very similar happens with the T128. We are talking about a steering wheel with a good base, a good force feedback and good features, but I do not find it recommendable in many cases because of its pedal board. If you are going to change it, it could be a very interesting option, especially if it is still close to 150 euros. I think you will be quite clear about my feelings, although I will summarize them in order to evaluate the 3 steering wheels as a whole. Between the G29 G920 and the G923 there are hardly any differences, and they only change the distribution of buttons, a little aesthetics and compatibilities. I would buy the cheapest one that is compatible with the platform you are going to use. The Thrustmaster T150 Pro and TMX Pro seem to me to be on the same level. Maybe a little better in force feedback and a little worse in pedal board. Personally, I would take the cheaper option between these Thrustmaster and Logitech steering wheels. But beware, right now it seems that these Pro versions are no longer sold, and we only have the simple plastic pedal board. I would recommend this option only if you want to play arcade games or you are a very casual gamer who wants to save as much money as possible. Obviously, if you then add a good pedal board separately you won't have any problems. The Logitechs are around €250 right now, which is not a disastrous price. The Thrustmaster T150, TMX and T128 are for less than €200 with a simple pedal board. Not a bad price, but watch out what it will go up if you want to add a better pedal board. The point is that for less than €300 you have a T248 that is clearly superior in the most relevant areas of a steering wheel. If you have the money, don't save and go for it. If you have never had a steering wheel and what you want is just to try a little bit, go for the T128, T150 or TMX Simple or a second-hand option. It will not be such a representative option of the world, but it will serve you as a very worthy start. I tell you that the T248 is already a steering wheel that represents very well what you can get in the higher ranges, so paying €50 more than a Logitech steering wheel or the lower ranges of Thrustmaster itself is 100% worth it in my opinion. You won't regret it in the long run. In conclusion, and although it has been quite clear in the section of my feelings, I think it all depends on the price. I consider that both Logitech options such as the T150 and TMX Pro are excellent steering wheels for about €200 or less. It is the market situation that sets prices somewhat higher right now. The T128 could be limited to very occasional players, or to people who have never tried a steering wheel and want to get started with a cheaper alternative. Logitech is a good and balanced alternative, but keep an eye on the price difference with the Thrustmaster T248, because if the difference is less than €50, I think it will be worth the jump to this other wheel. Well, so what? What would be the ideal flyer for you in this trio? Do you agree with my verdict? Leave it in comments and we'll talk about it. And obviously, if you've made it this far, I hope you've already subscribed to the channel and liked this video. That said, we'll see you with more and better content. See you next time. Bye.